I'm like, oh, sweet, gotta think I'm in trouble. Kinda making me wonder what it's like on the other side. And I'm like, baby, kinda driving me crazy. I'm not wanting it saving, but I guess I'll give it a try. Oh my, oh my.
The bat and the cat. It's got a nice ring.
Let's find out what we agree on.
And disagree on.
With the game of this or that Batman edition. Well, wing's probably more useful.
All right.
I think I'm more on this side. I think it's a really serious
I'm
question.
conflicted. I mean, you're very funny, and I don't know if people know that because you kind of like have this like cool guy suave thing going on. Yeah, you know you do. He's very funny.
I think the cool guy suave thing would probably be more of a surprise.
No, people know that, sir. But he's a funny dude.
Get in there.
Here I
Get
go.
in there, man.
Okay. It's Batman? It's Batman!
I'm vengeance.
I know, pointy ears.
Yeah, I knew from the ears. Colin, your turn.
You're a genius.
Try and follow that up.
It's Catwoman. So obvious.
The bat and the cat. It's got a nice ring.
It is a piece of paper.
You can keep that.
Shaped like who? What? Oh. Ah, I see. I know exactly what this is.
I'm like, oh, sweet, gotta think I'm in trouble. Kinda making me wonder what it's like on the other side. And I'm like, baby, kinda driving me crazy. I'm not wanting it saving, but I guess I'll give it a try. Oh my, oh my.
A ton.
Yeah, we worked out a lot. Yeah, and the suits definitely add an element of difficulty. I think, we both trained for a long time and learned the fights, and then we would put on the suits and do it again, and you almost have to start learning it again from scratch because they're so limiting, and it's
so much heavier as
they're
well.
heavy, and you can't really, they're restricting in a lot of ways, so it's intense.
It's kind of nice though, because when you get hit by other people in the fight scenes, I don't
have that problem. Good for you.
Rob, big fan of you since Twilight, was, always, and still is Team Edward, and now you're the Batman. Mind blown. Did you find this version of Batman, who's more of a detective, hard to portray because it's rather different from the previous Batman movies?
Yeah. I mean, embarrassingly, even though DC stands for Detective Comics, I actually never really realized that it's really fun to it definitely feels really different to do a Batman movie where he's not just this kind of bruiser coming in, just destroying everything in his path.
Who are you under there?
Now, Zoe, you lit up the screen every time you came on. I hear you trained really hard and also, watch tons of big cat videos just to incorporate their movements. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I did. For the feline videos, you really couldn't tell what they were about to do next. Like, the strikes would really come out of nowhere, and that came from being very, very still and kind of very neutral in your eyes, and then all of a sudden they would just bam, and it's so surprising, and so I found that to be something that I felt was realistic in terms of, being able to kick Batman's ass a little bit.
Yeah, you did. Something for the both of you. Rob, would you rather be a bat-sized man or a man-sized bat?
Ooh,
and for you, Zoe, would you rather be a cat-sized woman or a woman-sized cat?
That's so unfair, because your one sounds cool. I mean, either one of mine is kind of lame.
Cat-sized woman.
I'd actually quite like to be a bat-sized man.
Just that word's really funny.
I think I would like to just be carried around in a pocket.
I think a woman-sized cat would be cool. People would lose. Like, what?
That is a lion.
That's a lion. That's a lion. So yeah, that.
Yeah. I did the camera test in George Clooney's suit, which was extraordinarily restrictive, and I was expecting that. And then the suit which I had in the movie is really lovely, incredibly designed.
We were rehearsing a fight sequence together for a month or something, and I finally felt like I had it down. I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. And then we rehearsed it with the suits on, and I remember crying. I was like,
And also Zoe doesn't sweat in her suit, whereas I like to give her like a shower of sweat.
I have a lot of Rob Pattinson sweat.
Yeah. And give her a little bath in it.
Just bathe in it.
Just straight out of the nose hole.
I would just watch it. I would like stare at it and I'm like, call cut before it drops, call cut before it drops.
I have a riddle for you both.
Oh no.
I'm at the beginning of everything, the end of everywhere, at the beginning of eternity and the end of time and space. What am I?
What?
Batman.
I'm like, the universe? I don't know. This is deep. I'm like, what is it?
I'm like, God.
No. Oh, I mean, maybe. It's the letter E.
Oh,
You know,
that's impossible.
You know who's really good at it? Paul is actually genuinely like a genius.
Well, he plays riddles.
It's really strange. I was asking him, is that how he got cast? He really knows that. I don't even
The
understand
letter
what...
E. The problem with riddles is like, it could be I'm like, I don't even know what category to be thinking in.
Someone could be speaking to me normally and it just sounds like riddles.
His life. Life's a riddle.
I'm like, I don't get it.
Hello, Robert and Zoe. How are you?
Hi.
Congratulations on the Batman. I loved it so much. Robert, when you first put the Batsuit on, what was that like? Because there are all these stories about not being able to pee or sit or eat.
That was my first suggestion. I met Christian Bale I was actually peeing next to him in a restaurant, and he said
In
to
a
me,
bathroom.
In a bathroom. Yeah, just on the floor.
All these crazy Hollywood people.
I know, you know.
And he said, that was the only thing, it was the only bit of advice I got from any of the Batman actors, and he was like, you need to figure out how to pee. So that was my day one in the costume department. I was like, I need to have a flap, a bat flap. No, it's cool. Like, you put on that suit, and it's kind of, on day one, you can kind of walk past like lighting riggers and stuff. No one gives you a second look, and then you put on the suit, and then suddenly it kind of, like, people can't help but react to it, and like you kind of see like middle-aged guys. There's like the glimmer of like a little boy in their face afterwards. It's kind of amazing. And you look at yourself in the mirror and you're just like,
I'm Batman.
like, I'm just gonna beat somebody up.
You know what? I always look in the mirror and think that. Zoe, I loved you as Catwoman, Selina. She's so cool, and she's always been one of those characters that is a bit more complex. Is that what drew you to it, aside from being involved in a superhero movie?
Yeah, I think it's rare to get complex female characters in these kinds of films, and these characters are so wonderful because there's so many layers to them. And Selina specifically is, she lives in the gray area, right? It's like, is she a hero? Is she an anti-hero? It's a really fun place to play. And also, because we start this story kind of before she is Catwoman, we get to really understand her as a human and see why she is the way she is and why she will become, the woman as we know as Catwoman.
I have pugs around me.
You have a bunch of pugs? You have like a lot of pugs?
Here, I'll show you.
Yes, no, I want to see. Yeah, do that.
So I figured I'd be pug person.
Oh my God, you're pug lady.
Did you say your name is Pug Person?
Pug person.
Pug person's great. I would watch that film. What's that pug's name?
So, well, I adopted him, and the other person called him James Blunt. So now I call him Jimmy.
Very strange.
I like James Blunt. Jimmy. Well, we love you, Jimmy.
To wrap up, Rob, speaking of Superman, who you like to see as your Superman? No?
Did you just say speaking of Superman? Speaking of Superman.
Oh, it's tough. I don't know. Like, but well, wait, hold on a second. Isn't Henry Cavill still playing Superman?
Yeah. We have that. You are Batman. Michael Keaton is Batman again. Ben Affleck is still
just
Batman.
get some more in.
We have lots. Okay, so
Yeah.
Henry Cavill.
Henry's great at it. I mean, it's fair. I like getting the Brits into things as well. I like having English people take stuff over, rewriting history.
Whatever.
I mean, I'm driving the Batmobile and you're going fast. I mean, we were going 60 miles an hour in the actual Batmobile. The only problem is that your ears get caught on the roof of the car. So, like, whenever...
You couldn't get in the car at
I know, I
first,
could.
right?
Yeah, also, the Batmobile doesn't have a door, so you have to climb in the window. Yeah, I mean, we really wanted to come to South Korea. Like, I mean, it's so
sad,
so annoying.
I'm so sad.
Yeah, but yeah, hopefully, I can see on the internet that there's so many people in South Korea who are like really excited about it already, and yeah, we really hope you enjoy the movie, and yeah,
We wish
hopefully
we could be there.
Batman and Catwoman have had a complex relationship on screen in the comics. What sort of workshopping went into building up the characters' chemistry in the Batman, and how do you both hope this will resonate with audiences when they watch the film? Let's start with you, Zoe.
I mean, I hope that people relate to the humanity of these characters, and I think, you know, the most interesting relationships are often very complex and have multiple layers to it, and I think, you know, we haven't quite seen these characters be so emotionally invested in each other before, so that's, you know, a really fun ride, I hope, for the audience to go on.
And they need each other emotionally and personally, as well as just for, you know,
for the purpose of this
their mission.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's kind of a little different to, you know, I guess you've used all of my
I'm
words.
sorry. We agree with each other.
Robert, the stakes are very high in the Batman, and with such impressive enemies such as the Riddler and the Penguin, one must ask, who else would you, as the world's great detective, like to face off with in future cases/films?
I mean, we were talking to Matt about Mr. Freeze. Like, Mr. Freeze would always be fun. And I really like Clayface. I like all the really fantastical ones, which don't really seem to fit in.
Matt will never do it until.
Yeah.
If there's anything else from the canon that you'd be excited to explore, if you got the chance, what would it be? Whether it's a character, another villain, or something from each of your storylines to bring in.
You know, I've always there was one of the graphic novels which I read in preparation for this, but there's this one called Dark Victory, which has got lots of stuff about Selina and Bruce's relationship, and it's actually a really good storyline, and I think that would be pretty interesting to draw from.
I'm just excited to watch Selina kind of, you know, she's in this story, she's so tormented and so angry, and the stakes are so high, so I'm just really excited to watch her flourish into something like a little bit more playful and mischievous, which will be Catwoman.
Rob and Zoe, you guys did an amazing job in the Batman. Loved it from top to bottom. And, you know, Rob, I'll start with you. You recently admitted that you made up a lot of things in interviews. Can you tell me something true and something that you made up about making this movie?
Oh, I'm struggling to think of a true thing.
That's how we know you need help.
I did tell someone the other day that I had a butt flap installed, a Velcro butt flap put on the back of the bat suit, and that was true.
Really? Okay. Most people would have thought that was a fantastical lie.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Now, Zoe, you brought Catwoman to life in an amazing way, right? And what is the most Catwoman thing that you do in your real life?
I'm real moody.
Really?
I'm real moody.
Right?
Yeah. I feel like she's really moody. I feel like it's kind of like you don't know what you're gonna get. It's funny because like I'm a dog person. Like I love dogs, but I feel like I identify as a cat. I have very cat-like behavior.
Would never. Yeah, I seem like such a cat person.
I know.
All right, well, Rob, bouncing it back to you. After filming this, because the fighting scenes are so brutal, do you feel like you're a better fighter now after having done this movie?
It's weird. There's actually one thing I'm kind of afraid of. Like if people see the movie and they try and
the
fight me, I'm like, wait.
I'm an actor, not the face.
Now, Zoe, so many legendary actresses have stepped into the role of Catwoman. Julie Newmar, Michelle Pfeiffer, just naming a few. What's it like to step into that role and give it your own fresh coat of paint?
It's very scary and also an incredible honor, and I felt so welcomed and encouraged by many of the women that came before me. And you know, I think the thing that all those women did that we love so much is that they really embraced the role and made it their own. So I tried to do the same, and you know, she's such a beloved character, and for so many great reasons. And yeah, I hope people dig it.
I remember when Twilight was first coming out, and I hosted a Q&A with you at a shopping center, and have never heard such loud screaming. You must certainly have nightmares about that still today, right?
Not really. I remember that first tour being so fun and like not having any idea what was going on. I mean, it was so surreal And it was kind of, it's funny because it really shows that no one really knew what was going to happen with Twilight as well. We were literally in just random shopping malls. We were doing a Hot Topic tour.
Oh
That was what the first thing.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
It was very fun though.
Having already done a very popular franchise and dealt with sort of the pros and cons that come with it, did you have any reservations in doing another role that'll obviously follow you around more so than other projects?
Not really. I mean, I think also because it seems like the kind of paparazzi industry has just disintegrated over the last few years.
Well, now it's just people with their phones.
Yeah, right. But that's all the same. And also, I've got a mask on the whole time. I mean, up until today, nothing's really changed that much.
Rob, the movie hasn't come out yet.
Rob, you actually spend much more time in the bat suit than out of it in this film. What was the comfort level?
On day one, you're thinking, I can just stand there and it's going to be fine. And then by day 3, you suddenly realize the mountain which you have to climb. It definitely helps in a million different ways. I mean, you look a lot tougher when you're fighting and stuff. It's just significantly more comfortable than the one I used. I used George Clooney's in my screen test, and that was literally if you disemboweled a penguin and just was literally...
Not the penguin, but a penguin.
A actual penguin. Or maybe a seal. It felt like being inside a seal and speaking out of its mouth.
Ew. I'm just happy to be here, and I really am. To work with Rob and to work with Matt and to be part of such an iconic world. We really did start the story with Selina at the very beginning. She's not even Catwoman yet, so I'm, obviously looking forward to continuing this journey. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. I'm glad to see you.
Good to see you too. I don't know what's going to happen between Batman and Catwoman. I think they're both so surprised to feel the way they do about each other. And I think in a lot of ways they're very similar, but in other ways they're very, very different. And, I think for Batman, I think his first love really is Gotham. And that's a problem for Selina. So I think it could go either way, but it's a tormented love, that's for sure.
Yeah. You have two characters who are kind of obsessed with things. Well, I mean, I guess you're...
I'm obsessed with you. But
yeah, I think basically the storyline is Selina really, really likes Batman.
And Batman won't text me back.
I don't know. Maybe get a new suit. I want you to look more like a cat.
Makeover? Batman makeover? I'm exactly like Selina. I mean, I would like to think, I think I have pretty strong values, and I am someone that will speak up for things that I believe in. I don't think I'm as tough as Selina. I think I can't ride a motorcycle. But, I do think that if I feel something strongly, I'll fight for it, and I think it's an awesome quality that she has.
I think I'm an overthinker. I think Bruce is a little bit like that, and I think I'm solely responsible for the fate of whatever city I'm in. Very stubborn. Batman's extremely stubborn.
You are stubborn.
Very stubborn.
He's stubborn.
Matt Reeves has said he would like there to be another movie, plans for a TV series potentially of this. Of course, part of it was filmed in Glasgow. You guys couldn't make it to that. But if there is more The Batman and Glasgow looks great as Gotham, will you guys come back to Glasgow to film?
I would love that.
Sure. It looks great as Gotham as well. It's so... What's Gotham? I can't remember if it was used as Gotham before. I mean, why... who would have thought that... Of all the cities in the world,
but that's kind of what's amazing about Gotham is that it's all these different cities combined, like Chicago, London, Liverpool. It's awesome.
Yeah, the final shots of the Glasgow skyline looks
gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Hey there, William, and your cat. We're rolling already.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Who's that?
This is Mingus.
Mingus. Hi, buddy.
God, it looks very well trained.
Oh my goodness, I really like Mingus.
He does his own thing. I wish I could control him, but
that's the thing about cats.
Nice to meet you.
I'm so distracted by Mingus. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I understand. He's gonna ask better questions anyway.
He's kind of living. He's living in his head, even though he's going out to the street and beating people up. Sorry, I'm like going on this tangent, but saying that there's a million different ways. Like it's kind of, yeah, he kind of becomes more compassionate at the end, but also it's still very unstable. I mean, and I like there's this tension at the end and I was kind of thinking about where the relationship between him and Selina can go, and it could go, you know, he's a very troubled guy, and it's not like he figures out how to heal himself in this movie at all. I mean, there's just a tiny little flicker of hope. And that's, sorry, one more thing.
I'm enjoying what you're saying. It's great.
Thanks so much
thank
for
you. You
the
too.
Nice to
Bye, Mingus.
He says bye.
Because this story is quite intimate, it really allowed for quite, you know, they're strange people, both of them, and they've always been strange in the graphic novels, and you know, when you just look at it from an outside perspective, if these characters were real, they're incredibly, this is very odd decisions they're making, and the script didn't really shy away from it, and really wanted to kind of embrace the sort of complex psychology of why these people would behave the way they behave.
Dudes, it was sweaty. You know, it was a very, I mean, you had already shot a little bit, but it was the first thing I shot in the whole film, and to jump in like that was really intense and scary and fun, and we'd been training and learning the fight choreography for about a month or so, and it was really cool to kind of establish the dynamic between our characters without words, in a way.
I don't know if you guys have heard of the artist. His name's Giggs.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Giggs? Right. So he's a huge fan of anime, and if it's DC, if it's Marvel, I can't not play this to you guys, okay? And he's got a bit of a Batman clip. I'm just going to play it for you. You ready?
Nice.
You ready?
Yeah. Yeah, I know the song.
So
yeah, I've heard that song.
So, yeah.
I've heard it because Rob plays it like on repeat all the time, and he's all like,
You're actually at.
I'm like, oh, sweet, gotta think I'm in trouble. Kinda making me wonder what it's like on the other side. And I'm like, baby, kinda driving me crazy. I'm not one to need saving, but I guess I'll give it a try.